Hi, from the Canon Academy. I'm Venus, and I'm a homeschool grandma, and I'm without children due to the pandemic. They are at home with their dad because he's off due to the pandemic. So this year I am actually teaching a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. The 2-year-old will actually be 3 in another month or so. So I just wanted to go over a few things you can do with your children and different things. And I want to show you my newest find. I just received this in the mail for small hands. I think this is going to be one of my new favorite catalogs. It has loads of things that children can learn, small children, ages 2 through 5. There are a few things in here that even older children would enjoy. So yes, that is my new favorite catalog. I do get another one that you might be able to use for junior high or high schoolers. Somehow I got on this list. They used to send me learning things for other types of things. They do have like the models in here for the hearts and eyes and things like that. Some of them are affordable, some of them are very expensive. And that's why I say possibly use them for a high school or college level maybe. This is good for medical students too. It has a lot of medical supplies. So I don't know how I really got on that mailing list. Something that I have done over the years, when I was a child and would go to the library, we had these little forms that we did. And every year it was a different picture, but there was always little squares here or dots throughout the picture. And every time you read a book, you filled out a dot. And then on the back, you had your name, your address, your school, and your grade, and the books you read. And you were only required to read 8 books during the summer. So what I did was I took one of my old ones, I ran a copy, then I whited everything out and retraced all the lines, and I made several double copies. And a few years ago, when I had a 2nd and 3rd grader, they started doing it, and we actually, instead of having it be just books that they read on their own voluntary thing, they were going through Hooked on Phonics. I have 2 different sets. I have one that comes with a big book that goes over the phonics sounds with words and pointed out to them those were rhyming words. Then they have games you play, and then there are stories in there that you read, and then they have little booklets that you read. You work your way up until you're in like the 5x7 books that have 2 or 3 sentences on a page and everything. And so we would just record those as they filled them out. And then as they found out that there were other books on my shelf, because I believe in keeping books, a set of books down where the kids can just leaf through them, talk about the pictures, things like that, point out words that they know once they start learning to read. Like, oh, there's the word bat. I know that word. Then they can talk about the story, and it helps build up their language and vocabulary skills. It helps them learn to put stories together, which is a good thing. It helps them with recalling a story, who the characters were, what happened in it, could they have done it differently, things like that. Even the 2 and 4-year-old can do this. The 4-year-old, I should say, has been doing this with me for a couple of years, so she's a little further along, of course, than her little brother, who will be 3 shortly. Then also, I put together things like this with word families, and I did use the Hooked on Phonics to get all the words, make sure I didn't miss any. And then for the older kids, like 3rd grade level and up, I have a phonics set that has little booklets in it, and those booklets go from 1 to 100. They get harder, the print gets smaller, the stories get longer, there are more questions. They break down words that you learned. You have they have questions that have numbers, and there are numbers off to the sides, so the kids know to go to this particular paragraph or line and look through it for the answer to the question, which teaches them how to go back and study and find an answer. So they are learning this from a very young age. We do this even now, like for instance, this is one of the stories that the 2 and 4-year-old reading. This is about Tom. And there are just 2 words in the story. Ride, Tom. Ride, 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 ride. Ride, Tom, Tom, Tom. But you can tell Tom is in the wagon, riding the wagon. You can tell Tom has a sister, and this is Betty. Here's Tom's dog. They're just like normal kids. There's a bike up there. He's riding, and he's going really fast. And then the wheel falls off. What happens when the wheel falls off? Well, Betty gets worried, and she yells, Tom, Tom. You know, so we go over this, the littles and I, so they're learning to recount the story. They can pick this book up and tell you the story without knowing the words. We do first grade readers and things like that. I read the story to them. We talked about it. We talked about vocabulary words and stuff. They can go back anytime they want and pull those off the shelf once we finish a book and go back to it. They can still remember after a year about the first story in the first grade reader, which is about Sam, who is a dog, and about a cat, and how the cat sits on Sam and stuff. I mean, it's just remarkable. And then another thing that I like to do, and I pointed this out in my last kids video, it's either lesson 4 or lesson 5, is I take words. I have color words that we're doing on the videos right now. And then I have words like Tom and ride. And I actually have ride again because it's capitalized at one point. And I want them to see the difference between capital R and lowercase r, that one comes at the beginning of a sentence and one is at the end or the middle of a sentence. I teach them that names start out with capital letters, always. Always a name has a capital letter. We go over these before they read the story. We look at the pictures. We discuss what's going on in the pictures. And then we read the words and we point to them as we read. And we sound them out. And then we go back and we read it again. And we may stay on the same story for 2 or 3 days before I move on, because I don't want them to exactly memorize it, but I want them to know every time they see this word that that's what it is. And lately, because I'm doing the videos, I've gotten out my chalkboard. These are one of my finds at the auction I mentioned in other videos. And you're actually supposed to hang it from a chart stand, but I do not have a chart stand yet. So it's attached to my blackboard, which my dad picked up at a yard sale for me years ago when my daughter was younger. But I can actually flip these over and show charts now on my videos and things. It's still a little iffy getting it to work on the blackboard, but you get the picture. Other things that I have living in the house I've got my hands on are these little neats. They're good for counting. They're good for hand-eye coordination. They're good for learning colors, sorting, grouping, adding and subtracting, multiplying, dividing, just about anything you can think of. I have loads of these little dollar puzzles that I got my hands on at Target in the dollar bins. They come all shapes and sizes. I have opposites. I have things that go together. I have letters and numbers, things like that. Magnetic numbers. I have magnetic letters somewhere. I also picked these up for future, because I have used them for older children. You can get them at Dollar Tree. I have pattern cards. I have loads of flashcards. I had put these stacking cups up because they were not babies anymore. And I thought, well, that was kind of silly because some of them have numbers on the bottom, and if they don't, they might have dots on the bottom that you can count and things, plus the colors, plus you can stack them. The kids love to stack things. I had sorting boxes, and the lids have broke off them over the years. So I have all the solid shapes, plus I have foam shapes in another room. So we can pull these out, we can talk about these, and I don't have to worry about these breaking. There's even a star shape in here. Some of them are plastic, some of them are wood. We can talk about the colors. I have wooden beads that they can string and things like that. Most are all yard sale finds. So, and that would be what I would tell you is just yard sale like crazy. Don't be afraid to dig through the bins at the Goodwill. I have found countless wooden puzzles at the Goodwill by digging through and finding all the pieces. You just have to be careful and watch out for sharp objects, of course. It's remarkable. I have a lot of hand-me-down things from people and stuff like that. Most of these charts, anybody will tell you that most of these charts are usually hanging on my living room wall. I usually have the shapes. I cut them out of a poster. They were on the wall. My alphabet sign, I cut it and I put it on the side of a file cabinet, and we get out the magnetic letters and put them next to it. I can take this to the side of a file cabinet, and with the magnetic letters they can put their own words together. I have a Boggle Junior game, and we mostly take the word cards and just turn the letters ourselves and find those letters right now. As they get older, they'll learn to play the game, and then we'll move on to Scrabble. So I hope this was helpful. As far as the videos I've been making, I'm trying to do 5 lessons a week, with the 5th lesson being a review lesson. Again, they're geared towards 2 to 5-year-olds. Some 5-year-olds might be advanced and might find that it's a little backwards for them. We will eventually get to the point where they will have more to do. But I am mainly putting them together for the 2 that I had and the 3rd one I was going to have, that are in the 2 to 4-year-old range, so that they could see them while they were at home with their parent. And so I hope this was very helpful. I hope you found a lot of things that you could do for older children, like the book list and things like that. Don't be afraid to have your kids use any kind of wipe-off tool. This is great. I don't care how old they are. They can do math on them, everything. They're in the little sheets from dollar stores and things that they can write on and lift it up. And then, of course, the envelopes that you can slide papers into. I've used these sheet protectors that go on notebooks for wipe-off pages. I used to use, the first wipe-offs I had were from transparency pages, and then I would put a work page in there and put the backing paper back on and tape them. Then I had a notebook that I don't have handy at the moment. It had a sliding pouch you can see through in it. You can slide a wipe-off page in there, and they can work it. When they're done, they can put that paper back in the notebook. You can carry the pouches in the notebooks with their wipe-off crayons and things. To wipe things off, use a tissue, a piece of felt, an old washcloth that you don't wear any longer, or if you get your hands on a dry eraser. Anyway, this was supposed to be informative, to explain what I'm doing on the other videos, things I use. Hope you found it helpful. If you did, like and subscribe below. It's free to subscribe. Also, for older children, my daughter puts out videos where she reviews books for young teens and adults. So if they're reading at that level, you might check it out. She's on YouTube, under Book Chick. She's college age student. And that's it for today. Thank you.